I'd like to introduce myself a little bit more. My official title is Ultimate White House Insider, and I come by that courtesy of the 8 years I spent as a special assistant to the president and director of the White House Visitor's Office. That's a position that made me everybody's very best friend in Washington. And so I am actually the only person in history to have done that job for 8 years. The White House is very hard. Most people burn out in about 18 months. So while in the Clinton administration we made history every day, I am proud of my own little part of history. As you can imagine, it was the most exciting time in my life, and in fact, in the Oval Office on the last day, President Clinton said to me, "Melinda, it has been a hell of a ride, and I am so glad you came along for the whole deal." And I was very glad to. It really was exciting. When we left the White House, because for years people had been saying to me, "Melinda, you have to write a book. You have to write a book." I wrote a book, White House Story, a Democratic Memoir. And then I created the first and only recorded tour of the White House, a CD. And those, it's not a political book, it's a memoir. It's a great read if you're sitting in a lounge chair out by the pool. And I'm very happy to autograph those for you. They're available outside the room every time I speak, and also in the liquor store for reasons known best to cruise management. But if you like me and you'd like to take me home with you, those are available at a special cruise price, and I'd be happy again to autograph them for you. So my theme all cruise long is backstage at the White House, and I will begin today by telling you my own story of how I got there and so on and what it's like. Tomorrow, our next Sea Day, I'll be talking about presidents, first ladies, and their frequently misbehaving children as they lived and worked in the White House. Some of them very happy, loved it, hated to leave there. Some of them hated it, couldn't wait to get out. But I promise you these are stories you never learned in history class about how they lived in the White House. Our third Sea Day is my favorite presentation because it's about parties. Entertaining at the White House from George Washington to Barack Obama, from dress swords to gate crashers. So be sure and come along with me for that. Then I'll be able to give my presentation, Melinda's Private VIP Tour. This is the same tour of the White House that I gave to Tom Hanks, Michael Douglas, Robin Williams, Dr. Ruth, Oprah, and the Queen of Sweden, the Grateful Dead, some of those all on the same day, and that was a kind of a normal day at the White House. And then my final presentation is the Oval Office and Air Force One. So I hope you'll come along with me during the cruise for all of those presentations. I'll be happy to share them with you. My own story begins, as stories often do, long, long ago and far, far away. And when I say long ago, I mean 1964. Who here besides me remembers 1964? Anybody? Oh, thank goodness. You don't think I took myself too seriously, do you? 1964, and when I say far, far away, I mean Georgetown University, which is where I found myself on a bright September morning, wandering the campus, dazed, confused, overwhelmed. Do I have the right books? Where's my next class? And most important of all, will I ever have friends here? I was so nervous about having friends. And into my confusion stepped a tall, skinny kid with a big head of curls, stuck out his hand and said, "Hi, I'm Bill Clinton. I'm running for freshman class president." Well, gosh, I had never actually heard an accent like that in Washington before, and I was tempted to laugh, but fortunately my head said, wait, don't laugh, because if you talk to this boy, you will know somebody. So we had about a 10-minute conversation about school politics. I had no interest in school politics, but I was very interested in making a friend. And when he walked away, I had an experience that I have never again had in my life, and that is that my head and my heart said to me, this boy is an amazing person. He is going to do something really important with his life, something really significant. I hope I get to see that happen. So essentially, when we were 18, I knew he would be president someday. And you may think that that's very odd, but I speak all over, and it is not unusual for people to come up to me after I speak and say, I met Bill at Oxford or at Yale or in Little Rock or wherever and had exactly the same experience. So that's the kind of person that he is. Well, we were great friends at school. I took Bill to his first Judy Collins concert. He fell in love with her music. Everybody knows that he and Hillary named their daughter Chelsea after Judy's song, A Chelsea Morning. We had a lot of classes together. We went to polo games. It was a wonderful experience at Georgetown. I actually got an education in there at times as well. Eventually, when school ended, Bill went off to Oxford and Yale and then home to politics in Little Rock, and I stayed in Washington, got married, had children, and started a career. And my career began at the National Gallery of Art in Washington, where on my very first day on the job, these two people showed up. Anybody know who this is? Charles and Diana, Prince and Princess of Wales, 1985, practically newlyweds here. So they came to inaugurate an exhibition, and to my delight and amazement, when they were finished with inaugurating the exhibition, they stepped into a room and walked up to me and began a conversation. Now, she was the most exquisitely beautiful human being I have ever laid eyes on, and he was charming, which is exactly what you want in a prince. So we had this wonderful conversation, and when they left, I ran to the office, got on the phone, and telephoned 200 of my closest friends to tell them, you won't believe who I just talked to. And when they left, I thought to myself, wow, I'm really going to like visitor services. This is my first day, and I really did love visitor services.